I saw the TV Glow at Sundance, and this is one of my favorite films. I think it's actually my favorite film from Sundance. It's currently number one for all year so far, and it's going to be very hard for any film to come over and knock it off there because this film just completely changed me after I watched it at Sundance and honestly inspired me so much. So this is Jane Schoenbrun's second film coming off their feature film, We're All Going to the World's Fair, which actually had its premiere at Sundance as well a couple of years ago. And I felt a little bit in the middle about that one, but when it comes to this film right here, I saw the TV Glow, their second film. I am completely on board 100%. This is a modern masterpiece. So let's get right into it. So this is actually, like I said, my favorite film at Sundance. I want to make a top 5 films at Sundance that I watched video, so stay tuned for that pretty soon this week. But we got a ton of other movies we have to discuss and review as well, so I will give you my reviews for most of the films I watched at Sundance. But overall, very, very glad that I got to see a ton of great films, but none come close to what I thought about I Saw the TV Glow, which in my opinion is just wonderfully made, crafted. Jane Schoenbrun really did an amazing job with the writing, the directing, and just the beautiful artwork that is laced throughout this whole film. Justice Smith, Brigette Lundy-Paine, who star in this movie, my goodness, mind blown. Brigette has this monologue in the film that is just so gets you in a trance. You're just watching as this actor is doing this amazing, almost this sort of rhythmic feel to it, as well as they're delivering line after line that is just hitting harder and harder. And this is a film that I feel wears its heart on its sleeve, but at the same time is doing something that is completely beyond that we've seen in a long time. And this film, I feel like it's a dishonor to try and call it just a horror film. At the same time, it does have its horror elements, but I really feel this is a drama at its core. A feeling that this movie really evokes is that feeling of not belonging, of feeling other world type feel, especially when you're in high school and all of that, and especially coming from a queer perspective where we have Jane, who is the writer here, of course being trans and all of that. There is something more to this film for somebody who's able to identify with that LGBTQ plus crowd. And I really do think that this is a film that is so important as well, because I feel like a lot of what Jane's putting in this film, not that I myself would be aware of these feelings or any of that, but as somebody who knows other people who have been through this, and you have friends, you have family that struggle with these things, I think this film is so important. And honestly, it is one of those films that I think very much so encapsulates what this feeling was for Jane in particular. Not saying that this is a blanket type movie where this is what everybody's feeling who is an LGBTQ plus, but I think it sort of is that starting point, I feel, of really understanding those feelings that they might have. And I really do respect Jane for being able to put that into a film and just be so vulnerable and raw with it. And that's exactly what I Saw the TV Glow does. And that's just me talking just about how the writing is done, just about the performance that Justice Smith and Brigette Lundy-Paine are able to sort of produce through the writing of Jane as well. Now, when it comes to all of that, and then you add some insane visuals and some intense sort of scenes that I just cannot get out of my head. I'm just thinking about them right now, and they just hit so hard. And it really was a film that just had me emotional throughout because of that. It is just one of those impactful films. I think that you see it once and you're like, I cannot watch that right away just now. It's just too much. But then after so long and so forth, right now, I'm ready to watch it again. I think there was just so much to unpack in it, and there's just so many amazing visuals, so much beauty in this film, so much pain, so much sadness, and that's okay to have all of that all wrapped up into this film. I think that Jane really does a great job at sort of showing the complexity of the situation. Soundtrack in this, immediately as soon as that track opens up, you're just going to be like, I need that soundtrack right now. And I'm pretty sure A24 is going to already have this already packaged up because they do such a great job when it comes to merchandising and marketing with things from their films. And the soundtrack here is just a standout, honestly. Pretty surprised with some of the ones you'll see on the soundtrack as well, in my opinion, because watching this movie at Sundance, not knowing much about it, only knowing that Jane had written and directed it, Brigette and also Justice were starring. That's about it. I didn't know anything else going into it, and I was pleasantly surprised with some of the guest stars in this. I won't give out much details about that because I think it's one that it's best as you're seeing it unfold, especially in the scene where you see it. It really adds a lot to the film in itself. But I just really cannot stop thinking about Justice and Brigette here. Like I said, Brigette has a monologue that is just insane. The way they are able to deliver this, their body movement and everything throughout, the lighting, the camera work, all works so well together. And that soundtrack just comes in and really pushes that scene home. If the Oscars were legit, I really could see Brigette going through for a Best Actress nomination for what they were able to give here. And Justice as well. Justice, my goodness. The arc from the beginning to the end, that last final scene is just some of the best work I've seen in an actor in a long time. There really is something special with Justice here, that they're able to evoke this emotion that I think Jane really wanted to come off as it did in the film, and it just works so well. There's just something that is going to feel like unlike anything you've seen, honestly. And I feel like there is just so much I'm saying about the film already, but trust me, once you see this film, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just feels very much so like a generational film that only comes every so often. And I think Jane really is going to start a movement with this. There is going to be a generation of directors that come in the next couple of decades that will say, that's the film I watched, then I knew I wanted to be a director. And I'm excited for that, for a new generation to see this film, for a generation to even have this film. It is so important, it is so crucial, and it is just an amazing film. And I honestly don't have anything bad to say about it. I give this film 5 out of 5, and it's just perfect in my opinion. And I really do encourage everybody to check it out. I don't want to see it sort of be boggled down into being like a horror. I know sometimes you have to market it that way to sell it to audiences or theaters or whatever. So be it. But at the end of the day, it is just a really well-written story with horror elements in it. And it is just one of the most heartbreaking films I've seen, honestly. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the film once you see it. Let me know if you liked it, if you didn't. I'm all ears to hear why you didn't or you did like it. So comment it down below. Make sure you follow us for all things you love. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers, less than 2,000 at the time you're watching this. So hopefully we'll get to that before South by Southwest. And I'm super excited to watch I Saw the TV Glow again. Anyways, as always, follow us wherever you can. Cultural Elixir on TikTok, Twitter, also on our Instagram, The Cultural Elixir, or our website, www.culturalelixir.com. As always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.